Hi, my name is Noah Grillo, and I am presenting the Air Canada case on their differentiated strategy and how they use that to support their cost transformation program. The cost transformation program was created to be able to cut avoidable cost while competing against the low cost carriers, such as, well, in this case, airlines with with their own premium products. Um, this this cost transformation program focused on operations process improvements, supply chain renegotiations, and revenue productivity gains. And in the 90s, Air Canada utilized IBM to outsource the maintenance of their IT systems, which was able to allow Air Canada to save a ton of money and focus a lot more of their time on innovating their core business, which was imperative to them creating this differentiated strategy. By the early 2000s, Air Canada shifted into a multi-vendor approach, outsourcing 95% of their IT services to benefit from the specializations of these vendors that Air Canada could not produce themselves at a much lower cost also. And they utilize IBM to integrate all of these new vendors and to maintain the corporate IT standards. The case then discusses their IT department. They discuss and the governance of it, how they started off with a centralized structure, but it was really slow and it was not working out. And then they went into the decentralized structure with its own pitfalls. But then out of necessity, they created a hybrid structure, which benefited from both the clear line of communication of the centralized structure and the speed and flexibility of the decentralized structure. And they did this by assigning 3 new IT representatives to the core businesses of operations, commercials, and customer services, who would report both to the CIO and the respective VPs to merge the IT side with the business side. And so you had the 3 business branches, and then you had 4 IT branches of IT sourcing, IT transformation, IT marketing experience, and customer solutions and innovations. So sourcing was responsible for creating and maintaining supply contracts and deciding whether to onshore or offshore their services. That was kind of similar to what I was describing before, with how they outsourced 95% of their IT resources, but they kept customer service in-house because they were able to do it more inexpensively and faster than any other vendor. So then you have IT transformation, which was responsible for maintaining IT infrastructure and the policies and standards. They are also in charge of evaluating the vendor performances. The marketing and experience were responsible for the front and back end of the customer service experience with the Air Canada website. And the customer solutions were primarily making sure that the technology and products were ready to go and that they were complete for customers. But even more importantly, they were in charge with finding and discovering new technologies that Air Canada themselves can potentially adopt. And this hybrid structure of the 4 IT branches and the 3 business branches were known as the Group of 7, and they collaborated with each other on a weekly basis to discover business needs and translate it into business solutions, which would help benefit the cost transformation program. Now we lead on to the analysis, and we had 2 questions. The first one was, can a company successfully pursue a differentiated strategy? And I say yes, so long as a company very well understands their core business and their competitive advantage. I'd like to use Warby Parker as an example of this. So Warby Parker utilizes at the time, revolutionary e-commerce and vertically integrated business model to become a price leader in the eyewear industry, and as well as continue to give consumers highest quality products. So Warby Parker bypassed the traditional model of most optical eyewear companies by being vertically integrated, and which enabled them to have direct control over cost. They do this so what they do in their business model is that they procure high quality materials overseas, mainly in Japan and Italy, and they design and produce all the eyeglasses in-house and sell them directly to customers, which is different from the traditional business model, which sells the product rights to middlemen who then design and manufacture and sell the eyeglasses to eyeglass shops like LensCrafter. And at that point, you have optical shops such as LensCrafters who then add additional markups and marketing prices before selling it to the end consumer. And so because Warby Parker does not need a middleman to purchase their, need to purchase their license from a middleman, they save a ton of money on these license and markups, which allows them essentially to have a base $95 glasses that they can sell to consumers compared to the north of $300 that you see from most other businesses. Luxottica was the one who basically set that price with the traditional model before Warby Parker came in and disrupted it, and they had over 80% of the market share. So Warby Parker also differentiates from the traditional model by having the majority of their platform completely online. How it works is that they have a very, very user-friendly and easy to use website in which consumers are able to purchase 5 pairs of glasses. They try on and it's shipped to the house, but they try on for free. And then out of the 5 glasses, you can select however many that you want to keep. And then you send the lens back. You choose which ones you want. And then you send in information such as pupillary distance and your prescription, and within 7 to 10 business days, Warby Parker will send you to your home perfectly fitted and stylish glasses, and you never need to go to a store. And this is really important, not only for convenience for the consumer, but especially today amid government shutdowns. And so that shows how a company is able to reduce costs with a differentiated strategy, but can aggressive cost cutting undermine the differentiated strategy? And I say yes, because many times cost cutting undermines IT innovation, keeping the firm's IT maturity low, and which makes them reacting to problems as they come rather than proactively looking forward to opportunities in the market like Air Canada. And I think even more importantly than that is that when you are just actively cutting costs, it's many times indiscriminate to how the firm creates business. And so leaders are so focused on increasing their bottom lines, increasing shareholder equity, that if you do not have a really good understanding of your competitive advantage, you can lose that advantage and then you get smoked out by competitors, or you just end up losing the reason why you're making money in the first place. So in conclusion, I learned that Air Canada utilized a differentiated strategy to allow them to capitalize on their competitive advantage, which then allowed them to invest in R&D as well as lower their overhead cost. I think it's really important, and you are going to be able to do that so long as you connect your business with IT and have a higher IT maturity. Thank you so much for listening. Underneath are the sources that I use. I hope you have a great day.